So you're thinking about buying a sewing machine. Well, it's a bit of a minefield out there. There's many sewing machines to choose from. So have a think first of all about what you're going to use it for. So are you going to be doing some dressmaking? Is it quilting, maybe homewares, curtains, cushion covers, or are you just going to do the odd repair? If you're the latter, if you're only going to be an occasional user, then I suggest that you go for a mechanical machine like this Janome CC500. It does all of the basic stitches that you need and then a few more besides. Look out for things like a free arm. So if you're doing a bit of dressmaking, that's going to be very useful for you. And a needle threader is important to a lot of us as well. But if you're going to be a little bit more advanced with your sewing, then I'd suggest that you go for a computerized machine like this Husqvarna Viking. And the reason being, it's so simple to use. You normally have more stitches and accessories included. You've got your needle threader, you've got your free arm, and this one you don't necessarily need to use the foot pedal with it, so that's important for a lot of us as well. And then as we go up the scale, still with a computerized machine, we go on to machines like this Elna that have a whole bank of stitches, the alphabet, embroidery stitches, different styles of buttonhole stitches, and then there's a whole library of feet in the compartment at the front as well. So there's something to think about. What's your budget? What kind of machines you want? What are you going to sew with it? And we'll take a look in a second in more detail, starting with the electronic machines. So most electronic machines will look pretty much like this. You'll sometimes have a one-step buttonhole, sometimes you'll have four. You need to have a straight stitch, you will use a zigzag stitch, and then anything else really is a bonus. So we have things like blind hemming stitches and stretch stitches, and most electronic machines nowadays will have some embroidery and satin stitches on them as well. A lot of them will have stitches that can help to stop your fabric from fraying. These are called over-edging or overcasting stitches. An easy machine to thread. All machines will have diagrams on the top of the machine and the front of the machine which will give you an indication of where the thread's going to go. And important for a lot of you will be a needle threader, and these are positioned just on the side of the needle down here. They put a tiny hook through the eye of the needle so that when you let go of it, it draws the thread through. This machine has a top loading bobbin. Some machines will have the top loading, some will have a front loading bobbin, and that is entirely personal choice to you. With the top loading bobbin you can see the thread as it starts to run out because it gives you a clear perspex window over the top. Now you will have a selection of feet included with any machine that you're choosing. You'll have your zigzag foot, which will probably be the foot that's on the machine when you get it home. That's the one that you'll use most of the time. You'll have a zipper foot with all machines as well, and this means that you can get close to the edge of not just sewing in zips, but to hemlines and piping as well. This particular machine, because it has embroidery stitches, has a satin stitch foot. This is a clear foot with what looks like little skis on the bottom of it, and that raises the foot away from the stitches so it doesn't flatten the decorative stitches, and of course you can see the stitches because it's clear. We happen to have an over-edging foot. Now not all machines will come with an over-edging foot, and an adjustable blind hemming foot as well. When you take off the accessory compartment, that's what's called a free arm, and that means that you can now sew in circles. So if you have a cuff or a trouser leg, you can slip this over the free arm so you're not sewing one side to another. So that's perfect if you are doing a little bit of dressmaking. And of course all of the instructions will be included in any machine that you buy, either in a booklet form or some of them come with DVDs. To choose the stitches is really very simple. A lot of machines will have a dial on the front or on the side with letters or numbers that correspond to the pictures of the stitches that are on the front of the machine. So if I wanted to, for instance, do, let's just do a straight stitch. I will turn this dial with the needle in the up position to letter A, and it's a mechanical machine, so I'll put my foot on the foot pedal and stitch the stitch out. A reversing stitch is also important. The dial or the handle for the reversing stitch is normally right on the front of the machine, so it's very easy to just press that lever down and go backwards, so that ties off your stitches at the end. Let's just do quickly one of the decorative stitches, which is, let's go for I, which is a scalloped edge, which is perfect for things like napkins and handkerchiefs. Now with some machines you will be able to adjust the length and the width of the stitches. Some of the more basic machines you don't, so however is more simple for you to work. And just make sure that the stitches on the top of the machine are exactly the same as on the bottom of the machine. All machines will have a tension control, so you can adjust that slightly if you need to. So this is the Husqvarna Viking 100Q computerized machine. On this particular machine, and they do vary slightly, we've got 20 stitches that you choose simply by illuminating the light at the side of the stitch you've chosen with a little button on the side. And again, all of the stitches will be explained in the manual that comes along with the machine. So an easy to use machine. When you do select those stitches, whether it's a utility stitch, a blind hem stitch, automatic buttonhole, or any one of the numerous embroidery stitches, the machine will automatically set its own tension, stitch length and stitch width, which on a lot of machines you can override that. This machine comes to you with lots of feet. I'll show you just a few of them, like for instance the adjustable buttonhole foot. That means that you can measure the size of the button on the back of the foot. Every one of your buttonholes will be uniform in size. This is a 1/4 inch piecing foot. The measurement from where the needle goes into the centre to the edge of the foot is exactly 1/4 inch. Perfect for seam allowances for quilters. Talking of which, this is a walking foot. Not all machines will come with a walking foot, and they can cost you around about £30. Where the feed dogs or the teeth on the bottom of the machine pull the fabric through, when you attach the walking foot, it feeds the fabric through from the top as well, which is ideal if you're sewing through multiple layers of fabric or different weights of fabric. Like for instance with curtains, the outer layer of fabric is probably going to be heavier than the lining fabric, and this foot will help to stop the fabric from slipping. This machine also has a freehand embroidery foot or a free motion embroidery foot. Drop those feed dogs down so the fabric's not drawn through, and then you can move the fabric underneath the foot so you can draw freehand with your needle and thread. With these machines, you don't necessarily need to use a foot pedal. They come with a foot pedal, but if you don't want to use one, the speed control's right on the front of the machine here. And as we come down to the buttons on the side, there's your start-stop button, your reversing button. You can fix any one of the embroidery designs, so it will only stitch out one design instead of the whole row. And you choose whether you want the needle to start in the up position or in the down position. Start it in the down position if you're going around corners and you need to pivot your fabric. This machine has a drop-in bobbin, most computerised machines will do. And again, you've got your free arm, so perfect for dressmaking, and you've got your needle threader just on the side of the machine also. So let's try one of the stitches. I'll put my fabric underneath, put my foot down. My foot pedal isn't connected. We'll go around about half speed, and we'll go for just one of the simple embroidery designs. This is a serpentine stitch, number 11. I press start, and away we go. Now I can slow right down if I need to, or I can speed right up if I want to. So an easy machine to use, as in all of the stitch length, the stitch width, is already taken into account. An absolutely perfect stitch. It's a delight to use, and it's very, very quiet, and perfect for those of you that don't want to use a foot pedal. Maybe you have problems with your feet, or you want to sew at different heights. So this isn't an Elna, a computerised sewing machine. You have so many stitches on this machine. There's over 540 of them, and most of those are decorative stitches. As you open the lid, they're all inside here, so you can see your utility stitches. There are buttonholes, we've got mending stitches, stitches to sew buttons on, and most of these are satin stitches and embroidery stitches, from flowers to fruit to cars to penguins, Greek key designs, cross stitches, and we've even got the alphabet and numbers. The alphabet's in two different fonts, in uppercase and in lowercase. The stitches that you'll use most of all are here right in front of you. So we've got straight stitch and zigzag, blind hemming and stretch stitch fabrics. So that's easy when you're doing your mainstream sewing, to just press the button that you need. And if you want to choose any of those embroidery stitches, you'll go into mode, key in the number of the stitch, so for instance number 147, and the LED screen shows you what the stitch is, the length, the width of the stitch, whether the needle's in the up or down position, information and will recommend which foot to use as well. You also have a memory on this machine. There are a few other brands of machines that will bring you a memory. So if you're putting together names or words or sentiments, then you can actually store those. So next time you come to use the machine, they're already in your library. Talking of libraries, with this machine, when you open up the front here, this is your storage for all of your feet. And the feet will include over-edging feet. There's a foot to make a very fine rolled hem, satin stitch foot, blind hemming foot, cording foot. There's even a little pin inside there that will enable you to stitch around in circles. Now this is another machine, with a computerized machine, that you don't need to use the foot pedal, although it does come with the foot pedal. You've also got a knee lifting facility as well, so if you're quilting then this would be a really good machine for you. There is a thread cutter just at the side of the machine, and you've got a needle threader, your free on accessory compartment, so the accessory compartment comes off and you can sew in circles, so it's perfect for dressmaking. So an advanced sewing machine, perfect for anybody that likes to decorate, who's personalising, who has children because they always like something with their names on, or if you're quilting and if you just love embroidery, you are going to love this machine. So there's a few things for you to have a think about before you buy a sewing machine. What are you going to use it for? Where do you see your hobby taking you forward? And of course, what's your budget? If you need any more help or advice, then do ask the experts on sew.co.uk.